So rotations are just what they sound like. You rotate the object, you spin it, turn it around in the coordinates. The rules for rotation look at first glance a little bit similar to the rules for reflections. We always measure counterclockwise. So when you're talking about rotations, we are rotating counterclockwise, which is that direction. So when you go counterclockwise, the number of degrees matters. So 90 degrees, which is just turning it a quarter of the way. A 180-degree rotation, which would be a half a turn. 270-degree rotation is 3/4 of a turn, and then 360-degree rotation puts you right back where you started. You spin all the way around, you're back at the beginning. So, and the rules are as follows: you switch them and make it negative. First, make the y negative. For 180, you just change both signs. For 270 degrees counterclockwise, they switch places, but the x, which moved, becomes negative. And then 360, you're back where you started, nothing changes there. So 4 rules that we will refer to. So draw the image under the given rotation. So we're going to start this time, we're going to write down all the coordinates. So A is at 0, 2. B is 1, 4. C is 4, 2. And D is 3, 1. Just quick little advice, make sure that when you are getting your coordinates that the scale counts by 1s. Sometimes they're going to mess you up and count by 2s. So instead of this being the way it is, it might be counting by 2s. It might be 2, 4, 6, and then you're going to mess up all your numbers, and it's a bad way to mess up. You knew what you were doing, you just didn't pay attention. So, rotating 270 degrees counterclockwise. Let's go back. Let's look at the rule. 270, xy goes to y negative x. The rule is xy goes to y negative x. So that means A prime, the image, they switch places. So that's going to be 2, 0. And then the x coordinate changes from 0. There's no such thing as negative 0, so it's just 0. For B prime, they switch. So the 4 goes first, and then the 1, and you change it to negative. For C prime, the 2 goes first, and you change the 4 to a negative. And now for D prime, the 1 goes first, and you change the 3 to a negative. If those were negative, we would change them to positive. You always change the sign. So A prime, 2, 0. That's A prime. B prime, 4, negative 1. C prime, 2, negative 4. And D prime is 1, negative 3. So it does look like the same shape. It's obviously twisted around a little bit. Just to kind of show you, let me just do a quick little sketch here, and I'll show that it does rotate around 270 degrees. If we rotate this 270 degrees counterclockwise, that's 90, 180, 270. But around the origin means I got to put the origin back where it was. Like over rotate it a little bit. If I can grab it, there it is. You can see that it does match up. So it's a little bit difficult to kind of show, but you could also turn your paper 270 degrees, 3/4 of a turn, and it would match up. It will look pretty similar. So for the other example, 180 degree rotation. The rule is xy goes to negative x, negative y. So K starts out at the point 2, -1. L is 4, -1. And M is 1, -4. So when we apply the rule, they don't switch places. X stays first, Y stays second, but they do both change the sign. So +2 turns to -2, and the -1 turns to positive. For L prime, they both change signs. So it goes from -4, +1. And M prime, sign changes, -1, +4. So -2, 1, that's K prime. -4, 1, that's L prime. And -1, 4, that's M prime. And if you rotate it 180 degrees, turn your paper upside down, basically, it would match up. It would look the exact same. So we're going to do the same thing for these. We need the coordinates. P starts at 2, 1. Q is 4, 1. And R, 4, -3. The 90-degree rotation. So if you look at the rule, 90-degree rotation, change it to -y, x. So that means P prime is -1, 2. Q prime is -1, 4. And then R prime is +3, 4. Negative 1, 2, that's P prime. Negative 1, 4, that's Q prime. And then 3, 4, that is R prime. And that does look like we rotated at 90 degrees, so that looks good. We do the same thing. We need all the coordinates for D, E, F, and G. Negative 3, 1. Negative 1, negative 1. Negative 1, negative 4. And G, negative 3, negative 3. And let's check our rule. 270 degrees. XY goes to Y negative X. So they switch places, and we change the sign of the X. So the 1 goes first, and then change the sign to a positive 3. Negative 1 goes first, and change the sign to a positive 1. Negative 4 goes first, change the sign to a positive 1. And now the negative 3 goes first, change the sign to a positive 3. So D prime is at 1, 3. E prime is negative 1, 1. F prime is negative 4, 1. And G prime is negative 3, 3. And it does look the same. It does, and it looks like we rotated it 270 around, or it kind of looks like 90 the other way.